from the ever so empty Hendrix print shop, and I am going to talk to you about the relief printed collagraphs. That was your option 1 for your third project. So for your third project, as you already know, you had your choice of these 3 options. The first was relief printed collagraph plates. That was why I put those little pieces of mat board in your boxes for that to be your collagraph plate. And then the next one was a kind of Xerox or image transfer process. And then the third choice was using your fingers as your printing matrix and creating a series of unique images, printing with your fingers. So for those of you who chose the collagraph, I never showed you while you were still here how to print a plate by hand, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. But first, let me talk to you a little bit more about collagraphs, because I think I only got like one chance to introduce collagraphs to you. So the video that I sent you is really great. That's a link in your handout to see how the lady there, she creates a collagraph plate very simply by making a line drawing on the mat board and then taking her X-Acto knife, and that's why I sent you all an X-Acto knife, so you can cut your lines, and then coating that mat board with gel medium. That's why you have gel medium, and then finally making a print from it. But in the video, she inks and prints the plate in Talio, and I hadn't taught you that yet, so I'm not going to try to do that remotely. Plus, you need a press to print a plate in Talio. So we're just going to print them relief. And so just ignore that part of her video when she starts inking it in Talio and wiping it and then printing it with the press. So the collagraph, that's one way that you can make a collagraph. But you can also glue other textural materials down to the board that will create a texture and create a gray tone in your image. So here's one example of a former collagraph plate that a student made, and they used a variety of different materials, including Elmer's glue for these light areas, Elmer's glue, and then there's like 2 different kinds of tape. You can see the blue tape and then some Scotch tape. There's cut up pieces of paper glued down, and there is some kind of, I think it's sandpaper for the ground plane that they glued down, all to create a variety of textures and values. So there's another kind of demo plate that I made just for your information. One year I gathered up all the different varieties of sandpaper we had in the shop, and glued them down on a board and then sealed it down and then printed it relief and intaglio. So this is the relief print, and the number is the grade of sandpaper that this was. So I'm trying to get that straight. That is tricky. Okay, straighter. Okay, so there's that. You can see, when you relief roll the different grades of sandpaper, they give you a lighter gray or a darker gray depending on the grade. So if you wanted to use sandpaper and glue it down in some of your shapes on your collagraph plate, you can absolutely do that. It prints better in relief. Actually, when I intaglio wiped and printed this plate with the sandpaper, they all printed black. So it doesn't make sense to use sandpaper unless you are going to relief roll. So here's just a visual example of that effect. It has kind of like a dot tone effect, the sandpaper. And the 400 and the 00B were the darkest ones. So 320 was kind of like a middle gray, and then 220 and lower all rolled and printed really light. That's 150, 160. All right, so you can make a real simple image, just cutting your lines out with the X-Acto knife and sealing your plate down like the lady did in the video, totally fine. Or if you want to also add other pieces of material to create different textures, then go ahead and do that too. You can use anything from wax paper to ribbon to burlap or lace, any type of sort of flat fabric that has a texture, and you would glue it down to your board really, really well, really solid. And then you, after everything was dry, then you would of course coat it with a thin coat of the gel medium on the front and the back too. And that just protects your plate, because your plate is just matte board, it's just paper fiber. So with over time printing the plate, if you don't seal it, then it'll start to degrade and crumble. So that's no fun. So that's why you would seal it, and then after you've sealed it on the front and back, and then let it dry for like a good at least 24 hours, then it's ready for printing. So, and I'm going to angle this down. As you can see here. When you're going to print your block by hand, it's a really good idea to make sure it's not going to slide around on you. So a really good thing to use is this, like, drawer liner, this plastic drawer liner stuff that has a little texture to it. You can buy it at any hardware store. And they also sell it as like rug, to keep rugs from slipping. So if you have a scrap piece of that and you put that down and then you put your plate on that, it's never going to move. It's not going to move. If you don't have something like this, you can take some newsprint and get it wet and put the wet newsprint down on your table, and that should keep it from sliding around too. I mean, it doesn't have to be soaking wet, but just damp, right? So maybe get one sheet of newsprint damp and then sandwich it between 2 or 3 more sheets and kind of, make a damp pack of the damp paper. And the dampness will keep it from wanting to slide on your table surface. So you have 2 different types of paper that you can choose from for this project, and they're going to give you slightly different results. You have this mulberry paper, which is much more thin. It's called Okawara. And then you also have this 100% cotton paper that's a sturdier, thicker paper. And they'll both give you a nice print, but it'll look slightly different. Because of the thinness of the mulberry, it's going to give you slightly more detail from your block when you're hand printing it. So you can use various tools to hand print a block. The traditional tool is called a baron. So this is a bamboo baron, and that's the traditional tool for rubbing the back of your paper to make your print. You just hold it, there's a little handle on the back, and you would hold it and rub like that. This is like a modern plastic version of a baron, right? I like this one because it's a really sturdy, it's a handle I can really grip, and I can put a lot of pressure down with that. And here's just another version of a baron. In case you saw this in the shop and wondered what it was, that's what this is. It's for hand printing a block. Minus any of those things, you can also use an old doorknob or any kind of tool that sort of has a flat, blunt side that you can rub. Like maybe if you have a tool in the tool shed, like a hammer or a screwdriver, and the handle of this tool is really smooth, and flat, then maybe you can use that tool to hand print your blocks. If you don't have anything like that, then you can also use a wooden spoon. So this is just a cheap wooden spoon from the dollar store. Don't use your mom's wooden spoon from the kitchen without her permission. But you can, buy a cheap wooden spoon strictly for printing. And I've got a couple here in the shop. So all of you got this water-based block printing ink, and you just you're going to maybe use your little piece of plexiglass as your ink slab, or if you don't have a glass tabletop at home, you could use some wax paper and tape it down to a table surface, and then squirt your ink out on that and roll it out on the wax paper. So I'm gonna squirt out some ink here. The thing you'll find that's different about the acrylic ink from the oil-based is that it's going to want to dry faster. So you have to keep that in mind and work kind of quickly. But on the bright side, it cleans up with water. So it's very household friendly and non-toxic for you as long as you don't try to eat it. So I'm going to roll out this ink. Not too much. You're going to roll out the same amount that you're used to rolling out. So it's a nice thin layer. And the surface, when you roll it, looks kind of velvety, and it makes a kind of kind of sound. Once you have it nice and thin and even on your surface, then you can start rolling your collagraph plate. So I'm just going to go ahead. This part you've seen before. This is exactly how you rolled your relief blocks first thing in the semester. So I'm just rolling over the top. And to make sure that I get even coverage, I'm going to change the direction of my rolls too. You can roll diagonally, crisscross. You can roll sort of fanning out from corner to corner like this. However you want to, but change the direction a lot just to make sure your ink is going to touch evenly all the parts of the plate that it can touch. And it's going to put down a nice even film of ink over the surface. There's going to be some parts of your plate that the ink doesn't touch, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my print now. So one of the things that you can do with hand printing that is impossible to do with printing with the press is actually secure your paper down in place. So I'm going to take some of my painter's tape . Couple of small pieces, and then I'm going to take this Okawara paper and position it over my plate. Right. And now on this leading edge here on the left, I'm just going to tack it down with the tape to the table, so it'll always be in place. The reason why that's important is that you can lift up from the side to check to see if you need to rub the back anymore to get a better impression. I recommend that you don't rub the paper itself directly because sometimes that can cause friction and cause your paper fibers to get torn up. So you can either put down a sheet of newsprint to print the back, or if you don't want to use newsprint for that, you can also use wax paper. And then once you have that ready, I'm going to use this red one. You just start rubbing the back of the print in a circular motion, sort of going left to right or right to left. Bearing down a fair amount of pressure. And just traversing over the plate. Like first I did a couple of horizontal rows, and now I'm keeping it circular and I'm doing vertical rows. So you're going in small circles and then traveling across every bit of the surface of the plate. use both hands for extra pressure. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and lift up my paper, keeping it taped down on this side, and see what it's starting to look like. And because of the direction of the camera, y'all can't see it very well, but there's a print, but it's very, very faint. So I'm gonna put the paper down again, and put the wax paper, and then try again with more pressure. I'm just going straight now, but I'm kind of covering it inch by inch. All right, and I'm going to check it again. Say that's good for a first proof, for a first impression. So here's my print, my proof that I just got. Let's see, put that so that you can see it. Ah, the angle is so funny. Okay. So it's pretty light, it's not that dark. So what I would do for my next impression is add more ink. I would roll more, maybe roll almost twice as much for my next proof to see what it looks like then. But it did get quite a bit of detail and texture from the image. You can see the tape, you can see the little robot, you can see the surface of the moon or the planet and those rock formations. So not bad, not bad. All right. Now, cleaning it up off your plate is water-based acrylic ink. So you can just take a sponge and water, like a pail of water, a bucket of water, or take it over to the sink and just scrub it off, scrub the ink off. Covers my demo for hand printing a relief or a collagraph plate. I hope that was helpful for you, and please message me if you have any questions at all.